Who is President Paul Biya? That Cameroonians are mourning the loss of more than a dozen Cameroonian soldiers killed by Boko Haram. He remains silent, and the only thing he thinks of doing at this particular time, where all the nations, families are crying, is to restructure his party, the CPDM. People were expecting a word from President Paul Biya regarding the uncountable soldiers killed in the far north region of Cameroon by Boko Haram. All over the world, they are talking about this issue, except President Paul Biya. Who is President Paul Biya? That more than 10,000 people brutally killed in southern Cameroon, including military, Amazonian fighters and civilians, children and women, burnt alive. And the only thing President Paul Biya could think of is to use 10 billions francs CFA of the taxpayer money to organize party in Yaoundé in the name of national dialogue. Who is President Paul Biya? That the civilians are crying and he hold on to the military solution. Who is President Paul Biya? The man who decided to choose the most wicked set of people all over Cameroon to form his government. People who cannot see, people who cannot hear. When Cameroonians are crying of poor sanitation, death litter all over the cities, the minister will come out and say, there is no death along the street in Yaoundé. And Cameroonians were provoked to come out and start snapping pictures, taking videos, eating in garbage, just to prove to the government that this is the reality of Cameroon. But President Paul Biya remained quiet. And that is the question I am asking today. Who is President Paul Biya? Is this man, President Paul Biya, truly a Cameroonian? Because I keep on asking this particular question. Because the way he is treating Cameroonians is just as if he is a colonial master or somebody from an enemy camp that was sent to Cameroon to maltreat, because nothing in Cameroon disturbs President Paul Biya. The only thing that you can see President Paul Biya up on his feet is when celebration is involved, is when embezzlement is involved, is when looting is involved, is when corruption is involved. That is when you will see President Paul Biya. But when civilians are crying of hardship, when they are crying of no drinkable water, when they are crying in darkness because of no electricity, this man remained quiet. President Paul Biya, the head of a country who has been there for 42 years, gave an order to INEO to cut electricity from the common people, while the government was the one owing the bills. And common people stay without light. Their goods rotten in free. Those who were involved in business that need electricity went bankrupt and put below poverty line. And this man was living in luxury, 24/7, constant electricity flow. Who is President Paul Biya is the question TFA Talking Point is asking today. So if you know who he is, drop it at the comment section and subscribe to TFA Talking Point, because TFA Talking Point is all about proposing lasting solution to societal problems. But when we do not know, we ask you to put it at the comment section. This one we don't know, and that is what we are asking you. Who is President Paul Biya? A man 92 years who have been in power for all these years and refused to hear the cry of the people of Cameroon. A man who is 100% perfect on pieces of paper, verbal promises, and a failure in reality, in execution, in implementation. Who is President Paul Biya? That for 42 years in a country that is rich, a country that is called Africa in miniature, is unable to construct route, and people are dying every blessed day on the highway linking Yaoundé Douala, Bamenda Bafoussam, Yaoundé Bafoussam, and many other cities. National route that they call in Cameroon are farm to market route in small country like Cyprus. But in Cameroon, it is called national route. A country with all sources of drinkable water, but there's not drinkable water. And Cameroonians are dying of cholera because one person decided that he will punish the people of Cameroon. Is President Paul Biya a curse or an abomination? Because I cannot say whether he is a curse or a blessing. He is in between two, a curse upon the people of Cameroon or an abomination upon the people of Cameroon. Where is he coming from? Cameroonians are crying. He came out during the Youth Week congratulating some people and calling Cameroonians to copy an example of somebody who is a failure, that he is having a farm, and Cameroonians should copy him and involve in agriculture. And Equinox TV took upon itself to go investigate and show to Cameroonians that this is the man you have to copy. And only to reach there, the villager said there is no farm. There is no place of that nature. The man the President Paul Biya mentioned does not even have a plot, not to talk of a plantation. Who is President Paul Biya? That all that is coming from him is deceived. Who is President Paul Biya? Cameroonians are mourning, and the only thing he think of doing is to appoint and restructure his own party. People are expecting from him to even visit the families of the bereaved soldiers killed. We are not calling him for the people of Southern Cameroon, because we know if he does not care for his own, the French-speaking Cameroonians, does not care for the soldiers who are keeping him in power, then he will not care for the common man. And that is why people like Abobala or C. Joshua said there is nothing worse than being a common man in Cameroon. Where can we go to for help? And what can we do to remove this man and his party from power? Drop it at the comment section.